make the world great again. Go right with Peter Boykin, constitutionalist, is full of liberty, bringing you the news that matters. Do right, think right, go right, be right. For America, let's make the world great again. Tune in to Go Right News, let freedom begin. Go right, go right, be right. For America, let's make the world great again. Tune in to Go Right News, let freedom begin.
Rise up, stand tall for the season we love. Joyful lights are shining from earth to skies above. Hold the cheer, be bold, with kindness in your heart. Every gift we share brings a brand new start.
Oh, oh, go right, be right, for the light shall we ignite. Defend words of the choice, we raise a mighty voice. Freedom never fades. Do right, be right, for the nation we unite. Go right, for the American tonight.
Remember, we fight for what's right because it's time to go right.
Yeah, it's Christmas time tonight in America. Oh, what a sight.
Go right, do right, be right, joy to all.
Hold the cheer, be bold, with kindness in your heart. Every gift we share brings a brand new start. Go right, do right, be right, joy to all. Spread love, spread light, it's Christmas time, y'all, yeah. Written in the snow, a story of good cheer. Voices of a nation ringing loud and clear. Turns gray. Together we will gather on this Christmas day. Go right, do right, be right, joy to all. Spread love, spread light, it's Christmas time, y'all. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin, where we dissect the news with the lens of a constitutionalist for liberty, with the heart of our constitutional republic. Imagine this. Time magazine has just named Donald J. Trump as its 2024 Person of the Year. They're sure to see a spike in sales, but it's not just about magazines. Elon Musk's wealth has soared to an unprecedented $400 billion, making him the richest person in history. While giants like Meta from Mark Zuckerberg and Amazon, Jeff Bezos, have chipped in $1 million each for Trump's inauguration fund. But let's shift gears, because while we celebrate new beginnings, we're also witnessing the end of an era. Under the Biden regime, there's been a quiet auction of unused border wall materials, a last-ditch effort to dismantle Trump's policies before he takes over. And in a stark admission, the New York Times acknowledged that Biden allowed an immigration surge, the largest since the days of Ellis Island. And I will tell you, during the days of Ellis Island, they actually sent people back on the boats if they decided that they did not fit for America. We'll be right back with our hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. It's time to go right.
Time to go right. Time to go right. Time to go right.
In a decision that has sparked widespread controversy and debate, President Joe Biden has leveraged his clemency power in what many consider to be one of the most contentious acts of his presidency. This move involved commuting the sentences of two individuals convicted of espionage for China and a third convicted of possessing child pornography, signaling a complex and murky chapter in U.S.-China relations and raising serious questions about justice, national security, and the ethical use of presidential clemency. Yet, let me tell you a note. They'll be complaining that Donald Trump has invited the president of China to come to his inauguration. Yet, look what Biden has done. The individuals involved, Yen Zheng Zhu, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing these wrong, a former high-ranking official within the Chinese Ministry of State Security, MSS. Zhu was convicted in 2022 for attempting to steal trade secrets related to the U.S. aviation industry. His method involved using aliases and front companies to lure American experts to China under false pretenses, followed by covert operations to extract sensitive information from their electronic devices. Zhu was sentenced to 20 years in prison, marking him as the first Chinese government intelligence officer extradited to the U.S. for trial. Ji Chak-kun, also part of this espionage network, Chak-kun was convicted in 2023 for conspiracy to defraud the United States, among other charges, including acting as an unregistered foreign agent. His role involved assisting Zhu in espionage operations, particularly in recruiting other Chinese nationals within the American aviation sector to spy for China. He received an 8-year sentence. Xiaoling Jin, unrelated to the espionage case but included in the clemency deal, Jin was convicted of possessing a staggering amount of child pornography. His commutation has attracted particular scrutiny because it seems disconnected from the espionage narrative unless one considers the influence of his family connections within the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. Jin's sentence was for 97 months, reflecting the severity of his crime. Now let's talk about the nature of the clemency. Prisoner swap. This clemency was not an act of mercy in the traditional sense, but part of the prisoner exchange between the U.S. and China. The decision to include these three men in the swap was ostensibly to secure the release of American citizens held in China. However, the specifics of why these particular individuals were chosen remain largely undisclosed, adding to the controversy. With the conditions of the release, each of the three had to leave the U.S. immediately upon release with a permanent ban on re-entry, illustrating that this was not a pardon absolving them of their crimes, but a communication with stringent conditions. They also were prohibited from profiting from any publicity surrounding their cases. So the public and political has reactions, of course. National security concerns is the commutation of these sentences for Zhu and Xiaoqing have raised alarms about national security, particularly in how it might signal the foreign powers that espionage against the U.S. could be less severely punished in exchange for political or diplomatic gains. I remember a long time ago when real espionage meant, the gallows, the firing squad, the electric chair, And there's moral and ethical questions. Granting clemency to Jen, especially given the nature of his crime, has provoked a significant backlash, and critics argue this move undermines the justice system's integrity, suggesting that political considerations might override moral and legal accountability. And of course, as always, there's a lack of transparency. The secretive manner in which this clemency was enacted has fueled distrust. The absence of clear justification or public discussion about the decision-making process behind such actions questions the transparency expected in a constitutional republic. And with this becomes political implications. This decision has been used by political opponents to criticize Biden's administration for being soft on crime and national security, potentially affecting public perception and the narrative around his presidency's end. I'm going to leave you with some final thoughts. The act of commuting these sentences, particularly in the context of a prisoner exchange, opens up a Pandora's box of ethical, legal, and security issues. It underscores the complexities of balancing diplomatic relations with justice, the protection of national interests with the integrity of the legal system, and this move by Biden not only tests the boundaries of presidential clemency, but also invites scrutiny into how much powers are used, especially when they interact with international politics and the protection of citizens' safety. But on a personal note, when Donald Trump decides to pardon the J6 prisoners, political prisoners, and other things that he will do as president, when they try to bark impeachment or they try to gripe, all we have to point to is, look what Biden did. And here's a video to leave off this segment. Biden pardons 39 people, commutes sentences of 1,500 others. Watch this video.
I can't name a single...
Outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden said on Thursday that he was pardoning 39 people convicted of nonviolent crimes and commuting the sentences of nearly 1,500 others who were serving long prison terms. The White House said the clemencies granted by Biden were the most ever in a single day. The move comes over a week after the president signed an unconditional pardon for his son Hunter. Officials said last week that the White House was listening to demands for Biden to extend the same grace to thousands of people wronged by the U.S. judicial system. Biden said in a statement the people to whom he granted clemency would have received shorter sentences if charged under today's laws. Experts say the commutations announced were for those who were placed on home confinement during the COVID-19 pandemic to slow the spread of the virus, rather than many individual civil rights groups have been advocating for. The president said his administration will continue reviewing clemency petitions and that he would take more steps in the weeks ahead. Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who takes office on January 20th, has said he would act on his first day in office to pardon rioters involved in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, further building expectations for a broad granting of clemency.
The FBI had 26 informants embedded on J6. In what can only be described as a bombshell revelation, the Department of Justice's Office of the Inspector General has disclosed that 26 FBI informants were present amidst the tumult of January 6, 2021 at the U.S. Capitol. This finding has sent shockwaves through the narrative surrounding one of the most contentious days in recent American history, challenging the public's perception of the events and the role of law enforcement. Except for those on the right, and especially people who were there that day, have been saying this from the longest time possible. So let's unpack the informant's presence. The extent of involvement of these 26 informants, known as confidential human sources, CHSS, a significant 65% or 17 individuals reportedly entered restricted areas. 4 of these informants even made their way into the Capitol building itself during the riot, while the remaining 13 were within the security perimeter established for the electoral certification. So the FBI stance on this. The FBI has consistently maintained that no undercover employees were stationed at the critical locations during the day's events. However, the presence of these informants who were ostensibly there to gather intelligence raises questions about the agency's level of oversight and the clarity of their mission. The fact that these informants entered restricted areas without authorization or subsequent prosecution suggests a disconnect between policy and practice. That leads into the criticism of intelligence coordination. The Inspector General's report also lambasts the FBI for its failure to fully engage in pre-riot intelligence gathering. A pivotal missed opportunity was not conducting a nationwide canvass of its informants, a standard procedure for such large-scale events. This lapse in intelligence coordination might have contributed to the chaos, as actionable intelligence was not adequately shared across the board, potentially leaving law enforcement unprepared for the scale of the event. Which goes along with the hope to pardon the J6 defendants. Trump's promise. President-elect Donald Trump has publicly expressed his intent to review and potentially pardon many of those involved in the January 6 events. This promise has been met with both applause and controversy, as many, especially those who see the legal actions against the J6 defendants as politically motivated. This represents a chance to right what they perceived as wrongs in the justice system. Trump's stance is that many of these individuals were caught up in the moment, influenced, well, especially when the door is wide open for many of them, influenced by misinformation, are simply exercising their First Amendment rights, which the left is always claiming that they're doing. There is constitutional implications. From a constitutionalist perspective, the idea of pardoning those involved in J6 events touches on core issues of liberty, justice, and the right to a fair trial. Critics argue that the legal actions against these defendants have been excessively harsh, possibly violating their constitutional rights, especially when juxtaposed with the revelations about FBI informants' presence and actions. And along comes the political and legal debate. This pardon discourse adds another layer to the already complex debate about January 6. If Trump follows through with these pardons, it would not only affect those directly involved, but also set a precedent for how political protests and their aftermath are handled legally and politically in our constitutional republic. This move could be seen as an attempt to heal divisions, or conversely, as an endorsement of lawlessness by distractors. But I got to tell you, when the left has done this many times, and the left has looked the other way many times on things much worse than January 6, I think it's about time that the right get at least one. The revelation of 26 FBI informants on January 6, coupled with the prospect of pardons for January 6 defendants, paints a picture of the day filled with more questions than answers, challenging the narrative of who was truly responsible and how justice should be administered in our republic. This situation underscores the critical need for a thorough reevaluation of how intelligence is handled and how protests are policed and how justice is served, all within the framework of our constitutional guarantees. And here's a video taken a few months ago when Johnson reacts to the DOJ IG Horowitz supposition there may have been FBI informants in crowd on January 6th. Watch this video.
The floor and pass them so that we can all work together to get this job done. Chad.
You served on the weaponization committee here. There was a supposition made today by Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General for DOJ, that there may have in fact been covert federal agents in the crowd at the Capitol prior to the riot. Do you know anything about that, and what do you make of that if that's in fact true, which he intimated could be in fact in his report?
I heard that on the floor just now. I've had a busy couple of days, but that is an alarming bit of information. Obviously, we will be digging into it further, and I'll be requesting classified briefings on that. If that is indeed the case, we got to get down to the bottom of that immediately.
Mr. Speaker, can you put odds on the way that you feel about Republicans keeping the majority? What odds would you put on?
Oh, I'm very bullish about November. I've been traveling the country nonstop. Some of you know what I've been doing. I've done campaign events in 207 cities across 39 states so far, and I have a everyday full agenda all the way through the election. What I'm seeing around the country is a real energy on the ground. I don't think the polling is even accurately reflecting that, but even the polling, almost all the polls favor the House Republicans to keep and grow the majority. So I expect a very strong November. I'm convinced we're going to win the Senate as well, and I believe Donald Trump's going back to the White House. I would be a fool to project a certain number of seats, but let me just say I'm very optimistic. I mean, we have, I'll just say this, we have extraordinary candidates in the field to flip some of these seats from blue to red and to fill the open seats. And it's at the end of the day, it's not about the quantity of the cash, it's the quality of the candidate. And the people that we have out making the case and providing answers are providing it in the right tone and with great credibility. And so it has just really been resonated well, I think, with the American people.
Hate to tell you, folks, but inflation is clawing back. Inflation under Biden has proven to be a relentless beast. After a brief slowdown, prices have begun to surge again, with the Consumer Price Index, CPI, recording a year-over-year increase of 2.7%. This uptick, fueled by premature rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, has impacted customers and consumers in numerous sectors. Electricity is up by 2.1%. Rent is an increase to 4.4%. Mortgage costs have risen by 4.9%. Car insurance, a significant jump of 12.7%. I know for a fact I'm paying an arm and a leg for a car that's probably not worth what you're paying for. And you know insurance is a racket. Water utilities increased by 5.7%. Airfare up 4.7%. Beef prices have risen 5%. Eggs, a staggering 37.5% increase. Butter up 3.6%. Milk increased by 2.2%. Beer a 4% hike. And postage up 10.6%. And they still lose your packages. The Biden administration has consistently seen inflation exceed the Federal Reserve's target, with overall prices increasing by more than 20% during his tenure. This persistent, might be a precedent as well. This persistent inflation has not met the Federal Reserve's goal of maintaining inflation at or below 2% since February 2021, just 1 month into Biden's term. When Trump left office in January 2021, inflation was at a modest 1.4%. And I know people can complain about the C word causing problems, but a lot of it still also has to do with the leadership. Janet Yellen, the outgoing Treasury Secretary, admitted that the administration struggled with this economic challenge, stating, quote, "I am sorry we haven't made more progress. I believe the deficit needs to be brought down." Her acknowledgement does little to alleviate the financial strain felt by Americans grappling with these rising costs in their daily lives. And on a personal note, we all know what this happens. It comes with unchecked immigration, illegal immigration, people coming in here, jobs going to overseas, mismanagement in government, big business going unchecked, no loyalty when it comes to employees, unemployment not really taking care of people, and a rise of homelessness, a rise of veterans having difficulties, a rise of people who are hungry, and most people are struggling. And I'm going to tell you that comes down to even me sometimes. With taking care of my dad since my mom passed away, bills have been, higher, and my dad's income has been cut in half because he doesn't have my mom's money anymore. I am taking care of my dad mostly full time, and I work. I try to take care of my bills and his bills, and take care of my other half's bills and everything's. And it's not easy. It's not easy, folks. And if it's not easy for me, then it's not easy for most Americans. So let's watch this video. What does the inflation rate increase mean for American consumers?
Labor Department data released Wednesday showed inflation ticked back up in October, which is what economists were expecting. The consumer price index is up 0.2% from September. That's a 2.6% year-over-year increase from last October, and the first month-to-month increase since March. Something else that's increasing, the value of cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin and the meme currency Dogecoin. After subtle increases throughout the year, both spiked after the election, seemingly captivating crypto investors. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now to tell us what this all means for consumers. So, Kelly, let's start with the CPI data. What do the numbers mean for what we can afford, what we can borrow, and what does it mean for the Fed's decision on whether to raise rates again?
So basically, this means that your prices that you see, they are increasing at a little faster rate than they were before. Now, that's not good news, right? We want to see that number come down. And specifically in the CPI, we saw this with shelter. Now, that's not good news either, right? Because that's always the biggest part of our budget, our rent, our mortgage payments, all of that. Good news, grocery prices have started to come down a little bit, but they are still worse off than we saw before the pandemic.
And what does the Fed want to see? What kind of rate?
Fed wants to see 2%. Okay. That's the target. And so the fact that we came up at 2.6% versus 2.4, that could give them pause when they think about continuing to cut rates. This is just one data point, though. We're still going to get more inflation, more jobs report numbers before that December meeting.
What do you mean it could give them pause?
It could make them say, you know what, maybe we don't cut rates. Maybe we actually pause and we just leave them where they are until we get more economic data.
Okay. So let's talk about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin reached record highs on Tuesday. Other cryptos like Dogecoin are also seeing nominal boosts. Is this something investors should be paying attention to?
Absolutely, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. So President-elect Trump has styled himself as the pro-crypto president. That's why Bitcoin is up. Dogecoin, that's a little bit more of a meme currency, the Shiba Inu coin that Elon Musk has championed. But really, the best advice that I have gotten from investors in this space is if you are new to it, invest what you're willing to lose, because this is what we call a speculative asset class. People just sort of traded of where do we think we're going with this?
Okay. That's probably good investing advice to begin with.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just invest what you can lose. But what did the CPI data and recent crypto spikes say about the economy that President-elect Trump is inheriting?
So the CPI spike says that, look, you're inheriting a bumpy road on this fight against inflation. And of course, some of the policies that he has suggested, like tariffs, could actually make that inflation fight worse. Now, he has also said that they could be a negotiating tactic. So the verdict is out there. The crypto piece of it, it just shows that people, they want to make money, they want to invest. And, we'll see what happens there.
Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.
Of course.
Democrat fundraising tool allowed illicit foreign donations. Act Blue, known as the juggernaut of Democratic fundraising, it's kind of like Red Wave or whatever they call it for the Republicans, has recently been thrust into the spotlight for potentially compromising the integrity of U.S. elections by accepting donations via foreign gift cards. This issue has raised significant concerns about the influence of foreign entities in American political campaigns, particularly from nations like China and Russia. Let's talk about the mechanism of influence. Act Blue's operations. Act Blue operates as a fundraising platform designed to support Democratic candidates and progressive causes, much like WinRed, which takes money for Republicans. It processes millions of donations, making it a critical tool for campaign financing within the Democratic Party. However, its recent practices have come under intense scrutiny. Foreign gift cards, until just weeks before a pivotal election, ActBlue did not automatically reject donations made with foreign bought gift cards. This practice allowed individuals or entities to potentially bypass U.S. laws that strictly prohibit foreign nationals from contributing to political campaigns, either directly or indirectly. Makes me wonder about crypto donations as well. Now, there's been a shift in policy. It wasn't until September 9th that ActBlue implemented measures to automatically reject donations from gift cards originating from high-risk sanctioned countries. This late change suggests that prior to this, there was an open window for foreign influence through what might appear as legitimate domestic contributions, which led to investigations and revelations. Representative Brian Steele's probe, which is the revelation, came to light through an investigation spearheaded by Representative Brian Steele, S-T-E-I-L, who chairs the House Committee on House Administration, responsible for overseeing election integrity. Steele issued subpoenas for documents from ActBlue, uncovering the significant lapse in security protocols. The potential impact. The implications are profound, as this could mean the U.S. adversaries like China, Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, I don't know how Venezuela has any money, might have funneled money through ActBlue to sway elections or support their preferred candidate. Such actions threatens the very foundation of our democratic process by injecting foreign influence where it should not exist. All of this came to investigative journalism. Notably, investigative reporter James O'Keefe brought attention to this issue by highlighting cases where large donations were made through ActBlue, purportedly by low-income Americans who later denied making such contributions. This suggests a pattern of straw donations, where contributions are made under false pretenses or identities. So what did ActBlue say? ActBlue's response: denial and cooperation. In response to these allegations, ActBlue has denied any wrongdoing, but has stated that it's cooperating with the ongoing investigations. This cooperation is crucial, as it might lead to reforms in how political donations are processed to ensure they adhere to U.S. laws. Problem is, the damage has been done. So the political and legal repercussions because of this. Speaker Mike Johnson's reaction. House Speaker Mike Johnson commented on the issue via X, which is formerly Twitter, emphasizing the illegality of accepting foreign gift cards for donations and insinuating or indicating that further legislation or investigative action might be forthcoming. His statement, quote, ActBlue was accepting foreign gift cards until September. This is illegal. Our work here is just getting started. Signals a potential for new laws or stricter regulations on campaign finance. So what does this mean for the future of election integrity? This scandal has sparked a broader conversation about the need for enhanced security measures in political fundraising to prevent foreign influence. And there's a growing call for more rigorous verification processes and possibly new legislation to safeguard the electoral process in our constitutional republic. In summary, the ActBlue case underscores a critical vulnerability in our political system where foreign money could seep into American elections. It probably has, potentially skewing democratic outcomes. This situation demands, especially Democrats' outcomes, this situation demands immediate and decisive action to restore and maintain the integrity of our electoral process, aligning with the principles of a liberty and self-governance that defined our republic. Watch this video about ActBlue has become a money laundering operation.
In the back of everyone's credit card, we get asked for it all the time. There's this code called the CVV code, and it allows you to track that account and where it's located. You can donate money, thousands of dollars to Act Blue without your CVV code on it. And so I want to pass a law that requires that all these online donations using credit cards require a CVV, so we can make sure that that person is actually in the United States and eligible to contribute. Otherwise, you could have some credit card in China basically putting millions of dollars in small dollar donations into political campaigns in America. Act Blue has become a money laundering operation, and they are, because they don't take the CVV. It's a deliberate strategy on their part. We should have a law that closes that. I've been trying to get it passed, and as you can imagine, the reason the Democrats oppose it is because Act Blue opposes it. Because if they had to put CVVs, they had to use that code from their credit card, their donations would go.
I think you're onto something, Senator.
New dawn is rising, let tyranny fear. Oh, come all ye patriots, stand for liberty. Biden's last stand looms near, oh, so we see. From border walls to spies, pardons in disguise, we lift up our voices, for truth never dies. Oh, sing of the dawn now with Trump's mighty rise. Hope glimmers again neath the bright crimson skies. Inflation may claw, but we'll conquer it all as we fight for our justice and freedom's recall. Oh, bells of the people ring, truth, integrity we bring. Oh, herald the fight for the land we hold dear. A new dawn is rising, let tyranny fear. The spies, oh, they whisper in shadows of halls, but patriots awaken to answer the calls. January's tale reveals hands in the fray. We seek justice unshaken on this holy day. The people's resolve shall no tyrant derail. Foreign funds may stream, but the truth shall redeem. Our elections are freedoms, the American dream. Of freedom, carry the light through Biden's last whispers of a long weary night. The dawn breaks with Trump, for the people stand tall. No spies or corruption can make our hopes fall. So gather, dear friends, by the fire's warm glow. For the spirit of truth, let our unity show. We'll hold to the dream as our forefathers prayed in this constitutional land where freedom's displayed. Oh, sing of the new year, for dawn comes anew. Our republic restored by the red, white, and blue. The people awake, for no tyrant shall reign. In this land we hold sacred, let freedom remain. All bells of the people ring, truth, integrity we bring. Oh, herald the fight for the land we hold dear. A new dawn is rising, let liberty cheer.
Bringing you the news that matters. It's time to do right, think right, go right, be right for America and to make the world great again.
Welcome back to hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. This is our viral video roundup and our hashtag Go Right recap remix. First of all, we got Trump rings in the New York State Exchange bell. In a historic moment reminiscent of the Reagan era, Donald Trump rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, igniting chants of USA among the crowd. And this event symbolizes a new chapter for the economy under Trump's leadership. Watch this video.
President-elect Donald Trump.
Next up, Charlemagne the God on Biden's pardons with his charismatic bluntness. Charlemagne the God critiqued the idea of Biden preemptively pardoning Trump's enemies, labeling it a move for an old ass administration out of touch with the current political landscape. Watch this video and we'll be right back with our recap.
I don't think President Biden should do preemptive pardons either. Makes people look guilty, if you ask me. Biden should be pardoning all the nonviolent drug offenders in federal prison. He should be pardoning everybody in federal prison for nonviolent weed convictions, okay? He should be pardoning Marilyn Mosby. Those are the pardons he should be working on before he get his old ass up out of here.
And you don't think the preemptive, like, there's people that Trump are going to be attacking, right? You know there's people that went at Trump, that tried to get him locked up. He's going to go with them.
Yeah, but why would I be pardoning you if you don't have any crimes connected to you? Don't that make you look guilty?
Welcome back to our hashtag GoRight Recap Remix. In this episode, we went over the headlines. Biden pardons Chinese spies and a pedophile. FBI had 26 informants embedded on January 6th. Inflation is clawing back. And Democrat fundraising tool allowed illicit foreign donations. We've navigated through espionage, economic challenges, electoral integrity, and the fight for justice in our constitutional republic. We've uncovered the troubling decisions of clemency, the murky waters of January 6th informant involvement, and the economic challenges of persistent inflation and the potential breach in our elections' integrity. These aren't just stories. They're the heartbeat of our constitutional republic, signaling the need for vigilance and the return to foundational principles. For more of these critical issues and how they shape our nation's future, dive deeper at GoRightNews.com, engage with our content on Rumble, listen to our discussions on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, TikTok, and X. Follow us on X and Twitter. Support our mission of truth and liberty by donating via Cash App at $ Peter Boykin, the number 1. And links are available on GoRightNews.com and PeterBoykin.com. Together, let's keep moving right, ensuring our republic stands strong on the principles of liberty, justice, and constitutional governance. Remember, in our republic, your voice is your power. So let's hashtag Go Right together. As always, God bless. Peace.
Bringing you the news that matters. It's time to do right, think right, go right, be right for America and to make the world great again. Go right with Peter Boykin, constitutionalist for liberty, bringing you the news that matters. Do right, think right, go right, be right for America. Let's make the world great again. Tune in to Go Right News, let freedom begin.